I am surprised that so few people talk about Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid takes over everything in decentralized finance. They are dominating the perpetual futures market. A lot of money is changing hands every single second. Yet, very few people talk about the Hype token. I've published 2 videos on this channel and both of those videos completely bombed. Let's see how this one will perform. Because slowly the market seems to be catching up. The Hyperliquid token went up by 15% today, 68% this month, and since listing on CoinMarketCap by more than 850%. The crypto market is still really inefficient. There are too many amateurs in there that are simply throwing money on random meme coins, but they are not investing in the things that actually matter. Now things tend to turn around. At least in the last 24 hours, Hyperliquid was the most viewed token on CoinGecko. But let me share my first video on the Hype token. It was published 156 days ago. It underperformed the average video. So the average video is here in gray, and the blue line, that's that first Hyperliquid video. Another video followed, which was published 2 months ago, and that performed even worse. Yet the perpetual futures market, so the bets on the price with leverage in a decentralized manner, is growing extremely quickly. So this is the entire market. It's growing much faster than the spot market. It's reaching one high after the next. And when we look at this in a bit more detail, we see that initially DYDX dominated everything. So that was on the Ethereum chain, which then shrunk further and further. And now this area here in turquoise, that's Hyperliquid. In the last 24 hours alone, we saw 17.7 billion with a B of trading volume on the platform. And here's the market share within the decentralized perpetual futures market of Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is taking over everything. The market as a whole is growing, and Hyperliquid is growing much faster even within that market. It's riding a positive wave, and not just that, it's taking over that wave. I personally also enjoy using Hyperliquid. I've even made a dedicated tutorial video for the premium members, 45 minutes in length, how to bet on various relative valuation plays without even any financing costs. So in the end, if you've got one long and one short, you end up paying nothing for financing. The only thing that we have to do is we have to deposit some collateral for those leverage bets. Now the collateral is posted via stablecoins, and that is growing also very, very quickly. There's more and more capital that's being attracted by Hyperliquid. Have a look at this chart. This is the Hyperliquid USDC inflows. It's now close to 3 billion. The token itself is not necessarily traded that much in spot. So there are a few centralized exchanges that offer the token, but the trading volume itself is not very large. It's only 40 million. But again, where would a perpetual futures token mainly be traded? Of course, in the perpetual futures market. And we are not getting disappointed on Hyperliquid itself. We see a lot of that trading volume. Hyperliquid now has a market cap of 10 billion, and it's the 14th largest cryptocurrency. But among the tokens that get traded on the perpetual futures, Hyperliquid is higher. Again, no surprise here, right? It's at number 7, not at number 14. Most people that bet on the Hype token via the perps do this in the long direction. So the longs have to pay the shorts in order to get additional exposure. The funding rate tends to be positive. The open interest on the Hype token is also increasing over time. No surprise here either. And people aren't really getting liquidated with those bets. Yes, there was one event in February and one in March, but all of that rally that we have seen where Hype went from $10 all the way to 30, we didn't really see a lot of liquidations during that run. On Hyperliquid, to bet on the Hype price, it now costs almost 40% annualized. People are incredibly bullish on the token. So maybe there's a way to bet on this in a bit cheaper way, right? Maybe we can just buy Hype on spot and then potentially take out a loan on the centralized exchanges that's cheaper than that financing rate, and then get the exposure that way. The easiest way to get levered exposure is not necessarily the cheapest. But yeah, the market has spoken. The market is extremely bullish. Here's another interesting offer by Hyperliquid. There are Hyperliquid vaults, and I've personally also deposited in here. There are various trading strategies offered by Hyperliquid for market making. So that's liquidations, that's arbitrage, etc. And all of this combined makes 14% APR. So you can just deposit your funds here, you get 14% APR, and that's relatively constant. Yes, there are some moves to the downside, but in general, the alpha is evident. The question then, of course, is about tokenomics. Is there potentially too many hype tokens coming out that could crush the price? The question is always, will the growth of the platform outpace the token inflation? If that's true, then the token inflation isn't too bad. Now here are the tokenomics of Hyperliquid. We've got a large allocation for future emissions and community rewards. But it's unlikely that the supply will suddenly 2x. We might get a slight increase in the supply via those rewards. But currently, the project is getting that much adoption that quickly. Probably the team doesn't even need to incentivize usage that much. The team itself, the core contributors, they get their first unlocks December of this year. So we still have a few months where the token supply is likely not going to change that much. Now, some people might make the argument that all of this analysis doesn't help at all because markets are efficient. But I tend to disagree because it's people that make markets efficient. There are clearly winners and losers in the game, and the winners tend to continue to win. So it's not just a game of luck, it's a game of luck and skill. And the nice thing about crypto is that we've got much more data in this market compared to other markets because every transaction is publicly recorded on the blockchain. But very few people actually use that data properly. And that's in the end where winners and losers are born. People that don't look into the details enough, they tend to lose over time. That's the vast majority. Now, the charts that you've seen in this video come from a tool that I've developed myself on top of the Dune Analytics platform. It's part of the premium membership of this channel. There are two dashboards. There's a dashboard for Ethereum related blockchains. So those are the ones we can analyze. We can plug in any token into this tool and then we can see how many large holders are there, how many small holders are there, how many new users enter a token, and how many buyers and sellers do we have over time. It's also always useful to look at the token ownership, right? Is a token mainly held just by the whales, by the people that have more than $100,000 worth of the token? If that's true, it's potentially, especially if that happened forever, a quite dangerous token. And so this is how I think about this fundamentally. The target with trading and with investing is to be better informed than the average, to be the person that makes the market efficient. If we are better skilled than the average person, then we should over time also make positive expected value bets. That means that not every single trade will be positive, but on average, we should make money. Again, because we can estimate the probabilities better. We can see the dangers and the potential upsides better. Now, I have made more than 100 tutorial videos on various topics within crypto. How to do on-chain analytics, how to build a Dune dashboard like we've just seen. But of course, you also get access to the dashboard itself. Also about risk management, about how to properly use leverage, if that's your thing. All kinds of videos. Feel free to check them out. The newest video is this one, how to use perpetual futures and how to use the Hyperliquid platform to beat others. The videos are posted on the website, but they're also posted directly in Telegram. And here's the feedback to that tutorial. Feel free to stop the video and read through this yourself. But of course, we also need to start somewhere. And so I'm personally, of course, sharing my own trades as well as I open them. Of course, I can't share the newest trades here on YouTube, but have a look at this. This is on March 3rd. I'm adding another short, Cardano, relative to the US dollar. And the explainer was in a premium update video. So I publish premium update videos every 3 to 4 days. I then added more exposure on the 11th of March and I then closed it on the 7th of April. So of course, not every trade works out that well, but Cardano went down relative to Bitcoin by 36% during that time. And so with this membership, I want to do both. Of course, I want to make it profitable very quickly. That's why I share my trades, but I also want that the vast majority, at least of the members, takes the time to learn as much as possible. That in the end, you might not even need the membership anymore. You can make your own profitable trades. Now have a look at this. This is where our members share their winning trades. If you use the right leverage, if you know how to do proper risk management as well, you can make hundreds of % in a single trade. It's all about being prepared and knowing the data better than most other market participants. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $125 US per month. The price has been reduced because currently the attention on crypto is still relatively low. Once Bitcoin hits new all-time highs again, then I might go back to the 165. But the 125 is locked in for everybody that signs up now. So when the price increases, when you're still subscribed, your price will not increase. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time on YouTube or see see you in Premium. There's also a link to Premium directly here on the right. Just click on that. It will lead you directly to the website. So see you next time. Cheers.